So a topic that's been trending a lot lately is the iOS update and how it affects people who want to run ads on social media. How does that impact music retargeting ads?
Makes them a lot harder to run. The iOS update, for people that don't know, is where you can opt out of cookies on your browser, right? So cookies is how companies were tracking you before. And if you were on Facebook, essentially it was looked at like you're using their platform. You don't have to use it. So therefore, people can have cookies. They just put a little disclaimer on their website that says, hey, we have cookies, or have it in their privacy policy or wherever. And people could go do that. Now, the way it's positioned is that this is your data as a consumer, and you can protect your data as a consumer. I guess it's looked at as this is your privacy where you're browsing, and even if you use these other websites, like we're gonna make it more so like in your face that hey, people are doing this, so you can opt out. So you could always opt out before,
right?
Like they just have it now where it's like
more direct,
more in your face, like hey, here's this prompt, do you want to opt out?
Wow.
So it makes it harder to retarget on Facebook and Instagram. I'll just be blunt about it. Doesn't make it impossible. Like you can still, there's still people who do opt in or like didn't click the button on iOS or whatever. So you can still retarget people, which means that if they come to your website and you're trying to get more buyers for your merch, you used to be able to serve them another ad based on their behavior on your website.
Right.
Now, if they opt out of that, let's say somebody spends 3 minutes on your website versus 1 minute versus 30 seconds, like you might not be able to track that. And that was a good metric to know, like, hey, here's the people who spent the most time on my website. I can make a lookalike audience based on the behaviors of these people and try to target more people like them. What we've seen personally within our accounts is a lot of the interest-based ads, which is trying to target people who are like fans of something. So for us, it'd be like, fans of TuneCore, fans of CD Baby, or BMI, and like all that stuff. Those have started to perform kind of just as well as like the lookalike audiences, where it was typically not so before. So you can still have success with your ads, still run your retargeting ads, but a mediocre ad is not going to do as well anymore. Like you have to bring your A game. The best copywriter is going to win. The best creative person's going to win. Like when you make your ad, your messaging, like catching somebody's attention within the first 5 seconds. Like all of that really, really matters now. Like it mattered before, but sometimes you could just feed somebody so many impressions, and that was going to work. Now that your impressions are more limited because you can only do so much retargeting, because a certain good percentage of people are opting out, you really need to step up your A game when it comes to everything I just talked about. So the other thing within the ad manager itself is that you can only have 8 trackable categories in there. So before, whenever you were running conversion-based ads in Facebook and Instagram, you could make a bunch of different goals. Right? Now they have it inside of Facebook and Instagram where it's like 8. So let's say you have purchases, you have email list signups, you have site visitors. Like you can only pick 8 of these. So you have to pick and you have to list them in order from highest priority to lowest priority. So you have to be very careful with how you pick. You have to be a lot more strategic with your ads. And you guys still need to have your website. Like you have to have your website so that you can track these things the best way possible. And you have to verify your website now within your Facebook and Instagram ads before you can do like these custom conversions. Before you could just kind of pop them on your website. Now you have to do like extra things within either putting some extra code inside of like your WordPress or your Wix or wherever, or you can do it on the actual hosting side.
Makes sense.
Which if it's Wix, usually that's the same host. If it's WordPress, your host could be like SiteGround or HostGator or wherever. But I say all that to say it is more technical now.
Yeah.
Like it's a big boys game.
Yeah.
It was before, but it's like definitely there now. So watch out on like all the metrics, because Facebook still has, revenue goals that they need to hit for their all their stockholders.
Yeah.
Right. So what they would try to do now is, if they know that more people are going to drop out of ads because it's gotten harder with all the retargeting stuff, then they would just raise their cost per 1,000 impressions, or CPM. So you really need to pay attention in there. Track your stuff. It is not going to work the same as always worked. These things are always changing anyway.
Yeah.
This would probably be one of the bigger updates, but that doesn't mean you don't run the ads. It just means this is the tide going out, right? You can see who is skinny dipping now.
Yeah.
So, guys, like if everything I said just confused you, have somebody run the ads for you. We have our ads management. You guys can hop into that. If you're one that likes a bit more of the technical stuff, hop in there to do some of these changes I've just said. But you're really gonna have to stand out these days. Yeah.
Is there anywhere that any techie people could go to get some of that hands-on training? I know that we've offered courses and things like that, but I also know that stuff is changing, stuff is getting updated. Obviously iOS update. Training from that vantage point, do you think that we would probably be looking into something like that? Or
so we have our social media ads course. We're making another social media ads course so people can look at that.
Awesome.
But even let's say we come up with ours in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
And they change something else in 2 months. I'm not going to go hop in every single time they make a change, because they make them so often.
Yeah.
So this just needs to be you understanding what you're doing there.
That's right.
The best way to understand it is to take a course and just walk through it step by step. You can look on YouTube after that if you know what to search for. But you would have to know to search for like iOS update, Facebook ads, and 8 conversion metrics, and you'd have to know to search for that.
Yeah.
It goes beyond just like I'm trying to get cheap clicks from Mexico or India. So there's not one specific place that I can say go look, because you have to know what to search for. There's a couple guys that do a good job with Facebook ads. I know they would have good courses overall. But do I know if they're updating the course every single time somebody makes a change?
Yeah.
No,
I can't keep up with that. Yeah. All right. Well, sounds good, man. Appreciate it.